Hello, and welcome to the Coachman. For today's reading, we're going to be sticking here in the good old US of A again. Don't worry, we're going to get out of my home country at some point. But for now, these are the kind of cool stories, and they're interesting because this is a story by Laura E. Richards, and it's about working together to make positive changes and act kindly to others. That doesn't necessarily require a king at all, but the warmth in our hearts that can be as gold as a crown. So let's just see, and the story is actually called The Coming of the King. So let's just see. Many of the children were at play in the playground one day when a herald rode through the town, blowing a trumpet and crying aloud, "The king! The king passes by this road today. Make ready for the king." If you don't know what a herald is, you'll probably get it after this. I'll give you a hint. The Miami Herald, like the New York Herald. So basically, if you haven't figured it out, and you don't know what those two things are, the Miami Herald and I think the New York Herald, I don't even know if there is one, but I know the Miami Herald it's a major newspaper. And back in the day, when they had kings and queens, a herald was basically like a messenger. He had all the news. He had all the just whatever that was going on. So a herald more or less would just run around and say, "Hey, the king is doing this, or the king is doing that, or this happened." So pretty cool. The children stopped their play and looked at one another. "Did you hear that?" they said. "The king is coming. He may look over the wall and see our playground. Who knows? We must put it in order." The playground was sadly dirty, and in the corners were scraps of paper and broken toys, for these were careless children. But now one brought a hoe, and another a rake, and the third ran to fetch the wheelbarrow from behind the garden gate. They labored hard till at length all was clean and tidy. "Now it is clean," they said, "but we must make it pretty too, for kings are used to fine things. Maybe he would not notice mere cleanliness, for he may have it all the time." And yes, going back, when I said that one of the kids got a hoe, no, he didn't get a prostitute. He went and actually got like a garden tool. So just keep that in mind. Didn't go get a hoe. Then one brought sweet rushes and strewed them on the ground. Another has made garlands of oak leaves and pine tassels and hung them on the walls. And the littlest one pulled marigold buds and threw them all about the playground. "To look like gold," he said. When all was done, the playground was so beautiful that the children stood and looked at it and clapped their hands with pleasure. That'd be cool, seeing a bunch of kids like, "Yeah, we did this." I like stuff like that. "Let us keep it always like this," said the littlest one, and the oldest cried, "Yes, yes, that is what we will do." They waited all day for the coming of the king, but he never came. Only towards sunset, a man with travel-worn clothes and a kind, tired face passed along the road and stopped to look over the wall. "What a pleasant place," said the man. "May I come in and rest, dear children?" The children brought him in gladly and set him on the seat that they had made out of an old cask. They had covered it with old red oak to make it look like a throne, and they made a very good one. "It is our playground," they said. "We made it pretty for the king, but he did not come, and now we mean to keep it for ourselves." "That is good," said the man, "because we think pretty and clean is nicer than ugly and dirty," said another. "That is better," said the man. "And for tired people and rest," said the littlest one. "That is best of all," said the man. He sat and rested and looked at the children with such kind eyes that they came about him and told him all they knew about the 5 puppies in the barn and the thrush's nest with 4 blue eggs and the shore where the gold shells grew. And the man nodded and understood all about it. By and by he asked for a cup of water, and they brought it to him in the best cup with the gold sprigs on it. Then he thanked the children and rose and went on his way. But before he went, he laid his hands on their heads for a moment and touched, and the touch went warm to their hearts. The children stood by the wall and watched the man as he went slowly along. The sun was setting, and the light fell in long, slanting rays across the road. Honestly, one of the best sights ever. When you can see sun rays that's like made by the clouds and the sun, and like 4:30, 5 o'clock, it's awesome. Especially back at home, where I'm from in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. It's sick over the rolling hills. He looked so tired, said one of the children. But he was so kind, said another. See, said the littlest one, how the sun shines on his hair. It looks like a crown of gold. Thank you very much for joining me today. So why don't we get out there and, spread a little kindness, spread a little love. And until next time I see you, or next time you hear from me, take care.